I'm gonna take you step by step on how to execute a perfect return or a great return. I think a lot of people overlook at returns when it comes to returning in a pickleball match. A lot of the time, if you mishit your return, you're on defense right off the bat during the point. That's really hard to get off of defense sometimes when you're back there and you did not hit a great return. But if you hit a good return, now it's a lot harder for your opponents who are stuck or who are on the baseline to come forward. So let's get to it. So the first thing, when I'm here on the baseline, if you notice that your opponent or a specific opponent, one of them has a really, really good, strong serve, then maybe you want to stand a little bit further back here from the baseline. If you notice that one of them in particular, they just hit a pretty weak serve, it's always kind of short, then maybe yes, you can cheat. But generally when I play at my level, I will not be on the baseline again. I don't want to start off the point on my back heel here. I'm going to be about 1 or 2 feet away from the baseline. That's where I like to have my position. Now, depending on my preference, depending on your strength. So for example, for me personally, I prefer hitting a forehand as my first shot of the point. So I'm going to set myself. So if I'm on the deuce side, on the forehand side, I'm going to make sure I'm maybe going to cheat a little bit more to the line so I can make sure that the first hit, the first shot of the point I'm going to hit, it's going to be my strength, which is my forehand. So in that case, for me, I'm not lefty, I'm righty. My forehand is this way. I'm going to go cheat a little bit closer to the tee line here to make sure I can hit a forehand. Now, if your strength is a backhand, you can cheat a little bit more to your right here so you can make sure that the first shot of the point you're going to be able to hit with your strength, which is your backhand. Same thing applies on the outside or the backhand side. If you prefer your forehand, like I do, maybe you'll see my position a little bit more to the left. And if your strength is a backhand, again, for righties, you're going to be a little bit more cheating towards the right. So you can make sure the first shot of each point, you start with your strength. Okay, now I got my position. I'm cheating a little bit to the left. The first thing you want to make sure is once they are about to hit their serve. So once you see them lining up, you see them about to hit it, make contact with the ball. I would like for you to do a quick little split step. It doesn't have to be a crazy split step like tennis, a little higher, like a crazy jump, but you want to make sure you go a little bit, a little split step here. And depending on where they hit the ball next. So if I'm here, they hit the serve and they hit it towards my forehand, let's say right here, I'm going to split step and I'm going to turn my body. So usually you're going to see the first move you're going to do is pivot your foot if it's a forehand. So the first thing I'm going to do here, split step, pivot, and now turn sideways, hit the ball. And after I'm hitting the ball, I want to make sure I follow through as long as I can towards my target on the other side. And after that, I'm going to run to the kitchen line. So I see a lot of people they're doing great. They're doing split step, they pivot their foot here, and they're trying to run as they're hitting the ball. That makes it very challenging for your return to be very good. You might start mishitting the ball. It's very hard when you think about it. When it comes to pickleball, it's very hard to have a clean hit when you're moving. Same thing when you're trying to block and you're moving, that's very challenging. So you want to make sure you hit your return, then you run to the kitchen line. Reason why you want to run to the kitchen line is you don't want to leave your partner hanging. You want to make sure you take advantage of the point from there, okay? So same thing for the backhand. If I'm here, split step, because they're about to make contact with the ball. Oh, it's to my backhand side. I'm going to turn my foot here, pivot it, and then turn sideways, hit the ball, follow through towards my target, and then I'm going to run forward.
If you know me, you know how much I love my U-Drippin grips. They're amazing. I I love matching my outfits. If you do too, you're gonna love the grips. You can buy so many different colors. You can match your paddle, shoes, or outfit, whatever you want. So they're great when you go out there and you play for a lot of hours. By the end of the day, you still feel like it's still really good in your hand and it's super tacky and it's not slipping off your hand, so they're great. I'm sure you're gonna love them too. If you wanna try them and save some money, use my code CP15 at checkout.
All right, now let's talk about the location of your return. So the number one goal is to hit it as deep as possible. You wanna make your opponent's third shot difficult, right? So if you hit it short, it's not very difficult. They can come in and just rip it at you. You don't want that. You wanna make sure you keep it as deep as possible. If you can, maybe find your opponent's weakness. If you notice that one of them, they really struggle with their backhand, then maybe you're gonna go more towards their backhand of that specific player, your opponent. It really varies. It really depends on, you know, your type of opponents. If they're very aggressive and you don't feel very comfortable with their drives, then maybe you wanna avoid that opponent. So there are different scenarios here, but just really depends on knowing your opponents. Now, let's talk about the height. So I would say if you feel like you need more time to get up to the kitchen line, then maybe try to go with a higher return. And also you're looking for depth there. You don't want it to be short, but maybe something that's a little bit more loopy, so it gives you plenty of time to get up to the kitchen and be with your partner. The best return at the higher level, or if you notice that maybe when you're doing the higher return, the higher ball, or a little bit more loop to it, and they just easily drive it, I would say maybe focus on keeping it lower. Not necessarily having it deep, but I think keeping it low can really give you more. It's just harder for your opponents when you think about it. If you keep it lower, it's very hard for them to drive the ball. Let's say their contact is about their knee level. It's very hard for them to hit this nice drive because the ball is so low, they have to go low to high. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, if you feel like you need more time to get up to the kitchen, you can go higher. If you notice that they're very, very good drivers and they just love their third shot drive, then maybe think about keeping it lower instead, so you're giving them a little bit of a harder time with it. Another thing to keep in mind, if you notice your opponents, they don't have maybe racket sports background, or just in general, they don't really like to drive the ball, then maybe that's the perfect return to just give them a higher ball, because it's very hard to hit a third shot drop when the ball is high. You usually want your contact point to be somewhat lower. So I would say in that case, if you play against players that you notice they don't like to drive it, they don't want to be aggressive with their third shot, then maybe you can hit that higher ball and it's going to give you plenty of time to get up to that kitchen line. Hope you guys had a blast watching my video on the most underrated shot in pickleball, the return. Remember, it's not all about the serve. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and leave any comments you have if you have any questions down below. See you next time. Okay, so I'm gonna take you, wait, actually, which camera am I looking at? It doesn't matter, that one? Okay. Mishit your return, it's a short return. Your opponents take advantage of the point. Oh, let me try it again. Okay, so you wanna make sure when you hit your return, after you run to the, let me do that again. Low return, drop it. Yeah. I think, okay, never mind.
Okay, and then? It's not just about the serve. Okay. I forgot. Wait. Hope you had a blast watching my video on why the return is the most underrated shot in pickleball. Remember, the serve is not, I forgot. Remember the serve?